Hello, my friends. Today I want to talk to you about books. Books. I am going to be sharing over the next while-ish a bunch of books that are my favorites for certain grades-ish. If your kids do not fit into these certain grades that I'm going to be sharing, it doesn't mean that they shouldn't read these books necessarily. Like, I'm going to be sharing the kindergarten to grade 2 list today, and if you have a kid that's in grade 3 or even grade 6 and they haven't read these books, I think they should still read them. These are like the tried and true books in our house, ones that everyone has enjoyed. These can either be used as read-alouds or independent reads depending on the child. We have done a number of these as read-alouds. A lot of them. At this age, we usually do a lot of read-alouds, but kids have also read them on their own. Many of these have been read and reread and reread over and over and over again. One of these books in particular, I'm pretty sure my one kid has read 50 times, I would guess, at least. And another one is, well, it's a series, and my 15-year-old, that is her default. I'm feeling anxious. I will put this book series on audio. It's a favorite of hers from childhood. So there's a variety of here. I don't know how many I have, honestly. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13-ish. But there's some series here, so really there's more. Let's just start at the beginning. For my oldest two, this was the first book that I read aloud to them. When they turned 4, and I've never been a good read-alouder. We do a lot of audiobooks. But when they turned 4, I read them Charlotte's Web. Each of them, when they turned 4, this was like our evening routine. I know reading a book together in the evening is like such a thing, but I kind of hate it. I am very tired in the evening, partially because of low iron and chronic illness and stuff like that. And I'm not great at reading out loud, but I did it for Charlotte's Web. Highly recommend. The nice thing about this age of books, like books for this age, is there's like often pictures throughout, which makes it easier if you are reading it out loud, helps the kids while they're reading. So we follow Fern. She gets this pig who she names Wilbur. Wilbur meets Charlotte, who is a spider, and the story ensues. I'm not going to give a whole lot of description for most of these books because I feel like they're all like pretty well known, but yeah, highly recommend Charlotte's Web. I haven't read it with my youngest two yet, but it will be after my next one, I think. I'm currently reading aloud a book to them. This is not the one, but it's in this series, Mrs. Pigglewiggle. So I've got Mrs. Pigglewiggle's Magic, but we're starting with the very first one, which is Mrs. Pigglewiggle. And Mrs. Pigglewiggle is this older lady in town who has all these cures. Parents will phone her because kids love her, and they're kind of at their wits' end as far as like, oh, my kid never cleans up his toys, or my kid is such a picky eater. And Mrs. Pigglewiggle gives them such a funny cure that helps. This particular one, Mrs. Pigglewiggle's Magic, which is either book 2 or 3, has Thought You Setter's Cure, the Tattletale Cure, Bad Table Manners Cure, Interrupters, the Heedless Breaker, Never Want to Go to Schooler, and the Waddle-Eye Doers. So they're just fun. Each one has like, 7-ish chapters of these cures, and my littles are really enjoying it. I would obviously have to say the Laura Ingalls series is definitely start in order. Little House in the Big Woods. I personally love Little House on the Prairie and wish that one was first, but Little House in the Big Woods comes first. I do love these full color editions. They're illustrated by Garth Williams, and the originals are black and white, which is fine. But like full color, it's just so fun. I don't know, it makes things better. So we follow Laura and her parents and her sister. In this one, they live in the big woods. It's very snowy. I feel like it's got really good winter vibes, so I'm hoping to read this one with my kids in a few months, with my little ones. And yeah, not a whole lot happens in this book, but in book 2, they take a covered wagon, they move across the country, and they have quite the life. It is based on a true story, but Laura Ingalls definitely took liberties, which is fine. I would do the same if I was writing my life story. And it's just a look into like the pioneer days in the US. This is the one that my second oldest, my 12-year-old, if you go and you look back on my video recommendations, especially the ones where he recommends this one a ton. Pippi Longstocking. He latched onto this book so hard. I don't remember how old he was when he started, but he would just listen to the audiobook like over and over again. Okay, I had a technical error and I don't know exactly where it was, but Pippi, she's amazing. I think she can lift a horse. I haven't actually read it myself in so long now. I love the cover of this book, but I don't like the deckled edges. It's really hard to find pages, but she lives on her own, and she lives like she lives on her own. She does all sorts of things that a kid would do if they lived on their own. She meets these two children, Tommy and Annika, and they are very like by the book, and they're so enthralled with Pippi, amazed by her, and she's just fun. There is at least a second book. I can't remember if there's another one, but usually with this kind of thing, the first one's the best, but I don't know. I think my son enjoys them all. And the next few, I only grabbed the physical books for those 4. The next ones I just wrote down because they're kind of scattered throughout our house and I got lazy, honestly. Next one, The Mouse and the Motorcycle. So we're following Ralph Mouse. This is a 3-book series. It's The Mouse and the Motorcycle, Runaway Ralph, and then Ralph S. Mouse, or maybe those last 2 are switched around. We follow a boy named, I'm blanking on his name. A boy. He goes to a hotel for, I think his family's vehicle breaks down. So they're just there for a few days. And his toy motorcycle, he ends up finding out that there's a mouse that can ride it. Super fun time. And then you follow Ralph Mouse on his adventures in the other books. We've read those ones quite a few times. Mr. Popper's Penguins. This is actually one that I have personally only read once, but my older 2 have read it on their own quite a few times after we listened to it together. So it's about a man named Mr. Popper. I think he starts out as a painter, and somehow he gets like 12 penguins. I don't remember the circumstances. And then he takes them on the road, like as a show. Mr. Popper's Penguins. Just silly, fun, just the kind of book that kids really like. It's not one that I would like to reread a bunch of times, hence why I haven't, but my kids have really enjoyed it. Ooh, this one was a favorite of mine when I was a kid. It's The Boxcar Children. And I definitely read more from the series, and then they have like a mystery spin-off as well when I was younger, but now as an adult, I'm like, the first book is where it's at. Like, that's the perfect one. We follow 4 kids whose parents have died and they're supposed to go live with a relative, but for some reason they think he's going to be mean or something. They decide to live in a boxcar, an abandoned boxcar that they find instead. And it's like, the book kind of takes place, I think, over the summer while they're trying to work for food and do these different things. And as a kid, I just loved this idea of like, oh, you have your like secret little house and you're just, I think they work in a garden and they get to take home some of the produce. And I just loved the industriousness of the book. So that was fun. The next one I've actually only read as an adult. I've read the first, have I even read more than the first book? I can't remember if I'm on the second one or I need to read the second one. I think I've read it. Betsy Tacy is the first book. And this one, our main characters, Betsy and Tacy, they meet each other. They eventually become friends. They start out as 5-year-olds, and then I think they're like 8-ish in the second book, or maybe by the third book they're 8. So you can read them and grow with the girls. So it's great for like introducing at this age and then getting the next books as they get older. Then I had to throw in a couple Roald Dahl books, okay? Everyone would have their differences on which books they would pick for this. I thought Matilda. Matilda's fun. She loves to read. She lives with her parents, and her parents are just terrible people. Her mother is like, you chose books and I chose looks, and her father is a sleazy used car salesman. But Matilda loves to read. She has this terrible, she's a really good teacher, but a terrible like principal at school, the Trunchbull. I mean, most people have already seen the movie, so nothing is overly new, but I just love Matilda. I have never watched the new movie. I've watched the one from like the 90s, and to To me, that's just the classic where it should be. And then the next one is definitely personal opinion, but this is one of the books that I like actually read out loud to my older two, and we had so much fun with it. It's The Witches. Now, I've heard kids have gotten scared from this book, so I want to put a disclaimer out there. We just thought it was so ridiculous and fun. Like, it was so ridiculous and over the top that it wasn't scary. But, I mean, you guys know your kids better than I do. It's about a boy that's at a hotel for I don't know, he's at a hotel, but there's also this convention with all these ladies. He sneaks in and he finds out that it's actually a witch convention. The book starts out by explaining how witches are everywhere, and here's different ways that you can tell that someone's a witch. One of them is like they have blue spit, and I can't remember the other things, but to me it was really out there. And my kids, when we read it when they were younger, my oldest drew a picture of like a witch with the different characteristics, labeled the different characteristics, like the blue spit, and it was a lot of fun. But I want to put a disclaimer out there that apparently some kids have gotten scared from it. So I guess maybe it just depends with if you're reading it out loud, the tone that you're reading it out loud in. I think the first chapter, as it's explaining how any woman could be a witch, is like maybe your teacher who's reading this to you right now is one. And like, I don't know, I just feel like the tone makes a difference. Then I've got one book that's kind of it's got a companion novel that isn't really anything to do with it. So the first one is Little Dog Lost, and then is Little Cat's Luck. So these are two different stories about two different animals. They're written in free verse. It's very easy to read aloud. Another one of those few books that I could actually read aloud. It's one of the books where my kids wanted to read more. Whenever I was like physically tired of reading, they're like, no, we want more. In Little Dog Lost, we follow a little dog who is lost. Kind of self-explanatory. It's very short. Like, it looks like it's as thick as a regular, I don't know, maybe like Charlotte's Web, maybe even a little smaller than that. But there's very few words per page, so I don't want to say too much. Little Cat's Luck, we follow a cat who sees a leaf falling in the autumn, and the screen door is ripped, and she follows the leaf, and then she gets lost, and we get her story. Such sweet little books. And the last one, this is the series that my 15-year-old defaults to when she's feeling anxious. Just gets the whole collection on Hoopla and listens to the series, and that is Ramona. The pause is because I am not a Ramona fan. I read the first book when my older two were younger, read it out loud or listened to it together or something, and I'm like, Ramona's so realistic and really annoying, but my kids loved her. And so if you as an adult didn't read Ramona like me and find her annoying, chances are your kids are gonna love her. My oldest has actually been reading Ramona out loud to my third, and sometimes the fourth sneaks in there as well, which is just really sweet. I'm glad they enjoy the books. Ramona she needs to settle down a little bit, but it's fun if you can not just be annoyed with her like I am. So I'm gonna leave the list there. I could honestly keep going. My hope is to kind of do these lists in little chunks. So kindergarten to grade 2-ish right now, grade 3 to grade 5-ish coming up, or we'll see exactly how I do it. Maybe grade 3 and 4, because I think there's gonna be quite a few books for that age. Let me know if you have some books that you love for the kindergarten to grade 2 range, any recommendations. My younger two are in public school because they are in the foster system and I wasn't allowed to homeschool them. But our teachers in our province are on strike right now. We are in the second week of their strike. We do not know when it will end. So I am homeschooling them and doing some reading with them. And so right now would be a great time for you guys to give me lots of book recommendations. I also do plan on writing this list over on my Substack. If you like a list, they will also be, the books that I mentioned will also be in the description of this video. So if you want to just copy those out to request from the library or look for at thrift stores or little free libraries or just purchase from Amazon, hopefully that helps you guys out. Thanks for hanging out with me for another video.